Hello everyone, welcome back to Cars with Ben, and in today's video I am going to talk about the most unreliable cars in the UK, part 2, as the first video was very popular and we had almost 20k views on it, and a lot of people really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd make a part 2 as what car have made a whole list of 25 cars that you can go through, and I picked a few of them from the list that are some of the worst, and let's jump straight into it. Before we get started, before people start commenting, a lot of these cars were just higher up in the range. So if your car is on here, it was more likely that it was the macro of that car. It doesn't mean your car was terrible. But if you do like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's do it. Coming in with the first car is the Audi A6 Avant from 2011 to 2018. Now this made the list for one of the worst reliable cars on the list. Now I have covered Range Rovers, Teslas, Vauxhalls, all that sort of thing, so they won't be in this list. But this car particularly was the Audi's version that was the most unreliable. Now I quite like this car. It's quite a stylish car. It's quite a cool wagon, and if you go for the sort of the higher spec versions, it does look really cool. Unfortunately, it had a reliability rating of 70.6%, making it number 1 on the list for what car. That is a shame because I really like this car, but it affected quite a lot of the years, almost 10 years worth of that engine. Now, from what I found, owners noted that the battery, bodywork, engine, things like that were a wide range of problems, particularly in this Audi, and I'm not too sure why that is. I think the electrics really had an issue. Now, this car comes in at just under 10 grand, or you could spec it up and maybe go up to 12, 13, which isn't too bad. But a lot of owners have noted that it was almost a 1,500 quid bill at least. So if you are thinking about getting one of these, just bear in mind that it is a bit of an issue for quite a lot of problems, from battery to body to exhaust. And to be honest, there's no one set thing, but a lot of the owners did note this was the problem with the A6. Coming in for my second choice is the Peugeot 308. Now you might recognise this car in the UK from being a very popular police car. And that is the case. A lot of the police use this car, which is very surprising when I came across this car on the list. This had a reliability rating of 83.3%, and it was up on the top 10 of cars. I quite like these. They're a lot better than what the old Peugeots would have been. The 308s are a lot more stylish, although I do just see it as a police car now, which is a shame. However, at 15 grand new, or near enough to used, dropping down from an early 20k, it's still a lot of money to spend considering you're going to have an unreliable car. Now, looking at what the owners said, there was a lot of non-engine electrical issues which caused issues with sat-nav, accounting for about 20% of the faults, followed by bodywork, interior trim, stuff like that, which is typical for a French car, as we know. Now, this was unfortunate because there was at least 47% of the cars that went wrong, and that incurred a bill of up to £1,000 for every customer that had to deal with this problem, which is really annoying from Peugeot, and not forgetting that a lot of the police use these cars, so they might have had issues as well. For my third choice is the Porsche Panamera from 2016 to present. So that is right, the most up-to-date Panamera does have quite a few issues with a reliability rating of 84.5%. Now that is really surprising, as a lot of the 47% of ones that were surveyed had suffered quite serious faults, and this kind of included owners saying aircon, brakes, engine, exhaust, and this is a high-end luxury car, so it's really annoying that you have to spend almost, in this case, £41,000, which I found here, and then have all these expenses on top. Now with a 3-litre V6, it's kind of typical for this sort of size of engine really, but it's a shame because a lot of Porsches genuinely don't have this sort of reliability, and the Panamera just had this problem and still continues to for some reason. A lot of the faulty issues were fixed though fairly quickly in most cases, and it did come to up to £1,000, so again very similar to the Peugeot, but it's not really what you want when you're spending such a premium on a car. And to be honest, I've never been a particular fan of the Panamera, so it's a shame to see that this is the case. However, I don't think I'll be too bothered because it's not a car we'll look into. Although I can see it being popular, sort of a family luxury car and sort of getting around quickly. But for me, the Taycan is just much better now that we have that, especially being electric. I've never really felt that the Panamera offered a lot, but I guess it was just that gap in the market for Porsche that they did that. And then, they still pull well for the prices, but they have been dropping significantly considering it was an £80,000 car. Coming in at my fourth choice is the MG ZS EV. So this is a relatively new car within the last few years, and it is an EV. So it should be an electric, dependable electric car, but it's actually one of the worst electrical rated cars that has been released in the last few years. So according to What Car, they said that although a small percentage went wrong, these were quite significant percentages, and it gave it a reliability rating of 89.4. So these were literally rendered undrivable when you bought one of these cars. So imagine spending that much on a brand new car for it to just be undrivable. And this is the thing with new cars, you never really know how long they're going to last. It's usually the used cars that can last a bit longer. The good news is though that all of these faults were fixed and they were under warranty. So of course MG were able to put it right free of charge. But it's a shame because it was mainly in the battery, the electrical motor, and sort of the non-electrics of the engine. But it's where you expect this car to excel because it's an electric car. Coming in at number 5 is the Suzuki Ignis from 2016 onwards. The Suzuki Ignis is a car that had a reliability rating of 85.9% according to Whatcar, and this came in at number 14 on the list. Typically, Suzukis are pretty much bulletproof, and you wouldn't really expect this kind of car, especially being Japanese, to be on this list. However, there were quite a lot of common known faults with these cars. At least a quarter of the cars were affected, and that obviously lingered, so they were in garages for over a week. So it's just something to be aware of if you are looking at one of these cars as a little sort of second car, sidecar. Most of these faults did occur with sort of gearbox, clutch, and suspension. Given the price of these, that's not too bad, and hopefully you will be able to repair it at a sort of cheaper cost than what you would if it was an Audi, and that's the benefit of owning something such as a Suzuki Ignis, although it was a bit of an issue for a lot of the owners. And coming in for the final spot, and number 6 of the car on this video, is the Jaguar E Pace, which is the smaller brother of the Jaguar F Pace, which is a larger version of the four-wheel drive Jag. This came in at Whatcar with a 88.4% reliability rating and number 24 on the list. So this is 2017 to present. And it's a car I actually quite like. I think it's quite stylish and it sort of fits in the range quite well, I guess, with its sort of body styling and a smaller SUV look, which a lot of people do want these days. However, the issues with these were, and reliability ratings that owners noted, were that 22% of them had issues. Now, it is a small amount when you look at the list, but that is quite a lot. And this typically included engine, electrical components, which were sort of electrical systems, including aircon, infotainment, some problems with the brake, and some fuel systems. But we come to expect that with Jaguar Land Rover. If you've seen my last video in part 2 and part 1, I did a lot of Jaguar Land Rovers there, which is why I've not covered a lot of Land Rovers in this video. But we kind of know this from typically looking at it. And a lot of owners had to pay up to £750, which is quite a lot for a small little car that cost £40,000. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been part 2 to my most unreliable cars in the UK. If it has helped in any way or it's just been knowledgeable, leave a like, let me know what I can do next. I'll see you in the next video.